Hello lovely people, welcome to my channel once again. So if you're new here, my name is Tsungie. I do crafts mostly. So most of the time I'm doing crochet, but in this video I'm going to show you what you need to start knitting, because I actually learned how to knit before I learned how to crochet. So knitting is what I did from I think 8 years old. Then crochet is something that I discovered I could do 2 years ago. Okay, so I just want to introduce knitting to you guys. There are different types of knitting needles that are out there in the market. So the first one that I'm going to show you are these kind of like the normal needles that you would think of when you think of knitting. So they're pointy on one side and the other side is like this. So you've got these knitting needles in different materials, some made of aluminum, these of wood, bamboo, the different types. I'll try to put pictures also. So the second type of knitting needles that I'm going to show you are these double pointed needles here. So they're pointy on this side and they're also pointy on that side, so it makes knitting easy when you're doing different patterns. Okay, so yes, we'll be working with these knitting needles as well as the other knitting needles. Okay, so the second type of knitting needles that I'm going to the third type actually that I'm going to show you are these circular needles. So this is what you would normally use when you're making like the collar or a sweater and you don't want to sew on the sides, you just want it to be continuous. So then you would use the circular knitting needles. They're very handy with things like hats. Yeah, I love circular needles. So yeah, again, just like with the other knitting needles, you've got them in different in different materials. So if this is wood, this is kind of like aluminum, and most of the time your knitting needles, the size will be written on the needle. So this is a size 12. So this is a size 12. And another thing that I also want to say is that so when you start knitting or when you start doing crafts, you're going to be wondering, okay, how do I know which needle size to use with this yarn or bulk yarn? So usually, so this is a size 4. So when you look on your buy yarn, right, when you buy yarn, somewhere on the packaging they'll tell you what knit sizes. So here it says 5mm 5mm. That means you can use a 5mm crochet hook or 5mm knitting needles. So what happens if I use a size 4mm hook on a yarn that says 5mm, what it means is that what you're going to need will be tight. It will be tighter. The tension will be tight. What it also means is that when you use like these thick needles here with a yarn that says like 5mm and this is a size 12mm, what it means is whatever you're going to crochet with these big needles, it's going to be very loose because you're using a bigger needle. So that's why most of the time if you're following a pattern, they'll tell you what knit size to use. Okay, another thing that I find handy to have when you knitting, when you start knitting, is this so when you doing things like cabling, instead of putting your stitches on, transferring your stitches from one knit to the other, you can use something like this. This is so easy. Again, they've got different sizes, so size 4, 5, 6. So if you're using a size 5, let's say I'm using size 5 needles, then you would also use a size 5 of this thing. I'll look for the name. I'm forgetting the name actually. Anyway, right, another thing that I find so useful when you knitting or when you're starting to knit is that needles. So these are tapestry needles. So these are needles that have a big hole that allows you to put your yarn like this. So you've got these plastic ones. Hold on, let me get the other ones. Okay, so yes, you've got these plastic ones, but you can also have these metal ones. They also have a big hole that you can use to put your yarn. And you've got these ones with a tapered end like this, which makes it easy when you're tucking, when you finish your you're knitting and you're tucking in the loose what do you call it, yarn. So that makes it so easy. I hope you enjoyed. That's all for me. I hope you enjoyed. One thing that I forgot to talk about, the yarn. So there are different types of yarn available on the market. There's so many, right? So there are thick ones, thin ones. There are three types actually. There's ones that are made of natural fibers. You've got synthetic ones. Then you've got a blend, like a mix of natural and synthetic fibers. So I'm going to make another video where I'm going to talk about yarn in detail, right? So those are the things that you need to start knitting. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please look forward to more videos to do with knitting and interesting projects. Okay, bye bye.